Secretary of State's action, both in Colorado and perhaps what you know about other states?
Well, certainly in Colorado, if any action that the Secretary takes that anyone wants to challenge, they can use the 113 process to do so. I think states have varying degrees of that. There's certainly other states that allow versions of that. And then I don't know whether there are others that don't. I certainly know that there are some that do.
I think we're told that there are states that do not provide for any judicial review of a Secretary of State's determination. Is that incorrect?
No, I think that's right. And I think there are some states that actually have no mechanism to come to, I think, Justice Kagan's point, or there are some states that don't have any mechanism to exclude a disqualified candidate from the ballot at all. And I do want to speak to that for just a minute about the actual
Would that
impact
be constitutional if the Secretary of State's determination was final?
I think so under Article 2, the Electors Clause, Your Honor, that would be constitutional. States get very broad authority to determine how to run their presidential elections.
Could a state enact a statute that provides different rules of evidence and different rules of procedure and different standards of proof for this?
I love it when I'm wrong. I really do love it when I'm wrong. But I'm afraid what you just heard, what is literally happening right now with the Supreme Court justices and what Colorado is attempting to do might be a little bit bigger than we might not quite understand how big this might be. I know it's difficult for a lot of Christians to understand or believe that no, there was not a 2-minute warning yesterday. Sorry. Well, 2-minute warning is Monday through Friday, but there are some times where I can't be here. I wasn't able to be here yesterday for good reasons. I mean, not bad. One of the reasons was I picked up the calendars that you can all go and purchase right now. Anyway, I know it's difficult for a lot of mainstream Christianity. I know it's difficult. I'm not gonna comment on your comment because I think SCOTUS is a very important piece of our republic, and as a patriot and someone that believes, I'm not gonna go there. I know it's very difficult for a lot of mainstream Christian. I know it's very difficult for a lot of Christians to understand these things and how they work and why they might be intertwined with faith and all that. I understand that. But I also understand a lot of Christians want to do this and they want to do this. They want to do the ostrich head in the sand thing because it's a lot easier. The less we have to deal with, many of us believe, the easier it is to go through life. The less I know, the less I have to do, which I don't see that as being an attribute of the Holy Spirit. I don't see that as an attribute of a believer. In fact, I see those attributes being condemned in Proverbs especially, and sometimes in Ecclesiastes. And I'm not talking specifically on your position on whether you think SCOTUS is a unelected black-robed oligarchy or not. I'm not addressing that. I'm addressing the big, wide Christian mentality when it comes to things like this. They actually believe you shouldn't be involved with politics. Well, I know a lot of the Torah people out there have a very twisted sense of government, their role in government. I mean, it's just bizarre. I mean, like you can't be a true Torah observer and, for example, work for the FBI or the CIA, completely and totally forgetting that Joshua and Caleb were spies. Oh man, people. Don't be afraid. Don't live in fear. Live with understanding and knowledge and discernment. So, I love it when I'm wrong, and I really hope I'm wrong. One, I hope Colorado gets shut down. It sounds like they're shutting them down, but you never know. One, I hope Colorado gets shut down. Two, regardless of this, there's a lot of other things they can do to keep this from going forward. And that's all I want to say about that. I love it. We're losing people. We're losing viewers. They don't like this political stuff. Hey, when it says that the kingdoms of the earth, or the kingdoms of man, are on his shoulders, I'm thinking politics and Jesus' work. You know, I mean, if the kingdoms of the world of men are going to be put on his shoulders, he's not an absentee player or actor in this narrative. Jesus is incredibly active in this narrative. This narrative does involve politics. Read Revelation, even just a little part of it. Anyway, I'm not gonna. We will never be able to convince those that do not want to be convinced. That's just the way it's always been. Anyway, that's what I'm listening to. That's why I'm late. Sorry. I should probably turn off my volume here. Okay, let's do this so we can all get back to our day. Okay, okie dokie. Hey, it is Wednesday, I believe. It's Wednesday. We're in 1 Corinthians chapter 14. We are in verse 33. Verse 33, we're starting there. We're still under the heading orderly worship. For God is not a God of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. Okay, this putting verses in this thing is just bizarre, because there's a period there between peace and as. Because as, if they're going to put verses in, there should technically be under verse 34, right? Verse 33, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace, period. And now we switch subjects. As in all the churches of the saints, comma, verse 34. Okay, so he's basically saying this was a common thing going on with church. What he's about to say, and people get upset about this. Verse 34, the women should keep silent in the churches, for they are not permitted to speak, but should be in submission, as the law also says. There is no actual Torah citing in that. He doesn't actually cite a specific Torah law. So, Complete Jewish Bible says, let the wives remain silent when the congregation meets. They are certainly not permitted to speak out. Rather, let them remain subordinate, as also the Torah says. When I read that, here's what I don't read. I don't read that women are not capable or allowed to interact or be involved. No, what I read is women are not allowed to disrupt. That's how I read it. And I'm not suggesting that if and when a woman interjects, because I'm not afraid of strong women. Have you ever met my wife? They bring stuff to the table. They bring prophecy. They bring, all that stuff. We know there are women in authority in the scriptures, so I do not believe that this is what Paul is talking about. I think the next verse kind of opens up to what he is talking about.
The views and opinions expressed during our broadcasts are solely those of the broadcast producers, hosts, and/or guests, etc., and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the Travelog Network, its sponsors, or affiliates.